Hi everybody, Josh Nam here with another video tip on joshnamgolf.com. And today we're going to be looking at Derek Gillespie. Derek is a student of mine. The name sounds familiar, Derek won the big break a couple years ago. He's on the web.com tour now, and we're going to take a little look at his swing. And this analysis will help anybody that tends to block the ball or hook it or get stuck. You know, it's a word we hear a lot on TV, that Tiger was getting stuck with his driver. And what does stuck getting mean? What does it mean when somebody gets stuck? And so as we look here at Derek's swing, and the one on the right's with the driver earlier this year at the web.com tour event here in Kansas City at Lionsgate. One of the issues with Derek is he's getting stuck and he's hitting big blocks. And basically what that means is if we draw a line up the shaft plane line here and we take Derek down, coming down, you can see how the club is getting flatter than the original shaft plane line and how it's working under the shaft plane line now. You can also see how his right arm gets kind of stuck in there. And this shot with this path, he's probably aiming somewhere out in here. And this path's kind of starting more on this line out here. Derek was having a problem of getting stuck. We can see now on his, we take him to the top and come down, we can see how the club stays parallel to that line on the downswing, how the club basically gets right on the line through it, and we can see how the club stays on the plane as it exits left. Let me redraw this one here. Stays on the plane as it exits left as opposed to working under and kind of out and throwing it a little more. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we did here with Derek to fix this. And I know they're using two different clubs. I think this one on the left was a 7-iron or so, but the results will be the same. And I'm just going to draw a line here right off his backside. Draw one here. And the camera moves a little here on the right, but if we look at this one on the left or on the right first, camera's moving a little, but his hips have actually moved off the line towards the ball, and you can see how level his hips have turned, maybe 5 degrees of tilt, if that. What happens when his hips turn too level and didn't turn deep enough or steep enough is it got his shoulder plane too level. We can see his shoulder plane's roughly about 28 degrees. So what we really worked on was getting his hip to work behind him and up, which would steepen his shoulder turn and get his arms in front of him. So as we look at this one, you can see at the top now his right hip's actually crashed through this wall, and we can see his hips have gone to about 27 or 28 degrees. His shoulders are now more in the 44, 45 range as opposed to the 28. What this has done, and I realize the camera angle is a little off, but it's allowed his arms to turn in front of him because he's turning more at an angle than flat, which caused his arms to get too much behind him. You can see how they're behind the right shoulder now instead of right over his right shoulder, which caused him to have to drop that right shoulder down and under to work it from the inside and get stuck. Now that right shoulder can work more at the ball. So as we come into impact, we can see because of that turning of the hips back, he has more room. His right elbow is now in front of his hip instead of behind him, which is a huge change we worked on here as opposed to here. The club is traveling on a better plane, giving him better numbers through the ball, not forcing him to kind of flip at it and try to save that big block. So if you're somebody that tends to get stuck, make sure you're not turning too level to it. You know, one of the big things we're always taught is to keep your right knee bent, you know, to keep its flex. And that's really actually a harmful thing to work on. You should lose some flex, not completely straighten it, but you should lose a lot of flex in those knees. And you can see if I clear all these lines, how much less flex Derek, let me clear that, how much less flex Derek has in his knees from before. You know, he's got a pretty good gap right there, and here, much less flex in it. He's allowed that right knee to straighten, allowed that right hip to work back, which gets him more tilted over the ball, which keeps his arms more in front of him. So I hope this helped you. For you people that tend to struggle with getting stuck and hitting blocks, this may be your fix here. But best of luck. Thanks for watching, and keep coming back to JoshNomGolf.com. Every week I'm going to do a video analysis of the PGA or LPGA winners that week, along with some of my students. So should be a good time, and hopefully you guys will learn something. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you back again soon.